Maya did everything right. Good job. Pays her bills. Never missed a payment in her life. And she just got denied for an apartment she could easily afford. Not because of anything she did, because of a 3-digit number she barely understood, generated by a system she never agreed to, controlled by companies she never chose. A 3-digit number that follows you everywhere, into the leasing office, into the car dealership, into the insurance company, into the bank, into some job applications. And most people have no idea how that number actually works, who controls it, who profits from it, and how the rules of the game were written specifically to benefit the people lending you money, not you. Hi, my name is Sage, and this is Financial Methods. Before we go any further, I want to be straight with you about something, because it matters. What I share on this channel does not come from research alone. I have spent decades on the other side of these financial systems, professionally. I have sat inside institutions that operate the very systems we discuss here. I have seen how the decisions get made. I have seen what they tell you. And I have seen what they leave out on purpose. I am not here to sell you anything. I am not here to push you toward any product or program. I am here because you deserve to know how these systems actually work. Not the version in the brochure, the real version. And today, the real version is about your credit score. Once you understand what I'm about to share, you will never look at that 3-digit number the same way again. Let's get into it. Maya is staring at her phone trying to understand why a number she thought was decent just cost her the apartment she wanted. Here is what nobody ever explained to her. Your credit score does not measure whether you are good with money. It measures one thing: how profitable you are to lenders. That is the whole truth right there. You could have $50,000 saved, a stable career, zero debt, pay every bill on time for 20 years, and still carry a low credit score because you are not actively borrowing money and generating interest income for someone else. The system does not reward financial responsibility. It rewards financial behavior that benefits lenders. Those are two completely different things. And most people spend their entire financial lives never knowing the difference. Here's exactly how the score is built. No jargon, plain language. 35%, whether you pay on time. The biggest piece. Miss a payment and your score drops. Simple enough. 30%. How much of your available credit you are using. Use too much, even if you pay it off in full every month, and your score takes a hit. 15%. How long your accounts have been open. Close an old card and your score can drop even though you did absolutely nothing wrong financially. 10%. How often you apply for new credit. Every application causes a temporary dip. 10%. The mix of credit types you carry. Cards, loans, mortgages. The system rewards variety. Read that back and let it settle. The system rewards you for borrowing more, keeping accounts open longer, and carrying multiple types of debt at the same time. It was not designed to measure your financial wisdom. It was designed to measure how much money you generate for the people lending to you. And once you see that clearly, every piece of credit advice you have ever received starts to look completely different. But here is what Maya did not know, and what most people do not know, and it is the move that could change everything for her starting this week. You do not need to carry a balance to build credit. Paying your credit card in full every single month, on time, every time, builds your score just as effectively as carrying debt and paying interest on it. The idea that you need to leave a balance to build credit is one of the most expensive myths in personal finance. It is completely false. Pay in full, on time, every month. That is the entire strategy, and it costs you nothing extra. And what happens next in this system? This is the part that nobody is talking about clearly enough. 40 million Americans have a significant error on their credit report right now. 40 million people being evaluated, charged more, and denied opportunities based on information that is flat out wrong. And most of them have no idea. Here is why that number matters, and here is why it is not an accident. 3 private companies control the financial reputation of every adult in America. You did not choose them. You cannot opt out of them. You have no say in how they operate. Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, not government agencies, not public utilities, private corporations, built to collect data about you and sell access to that data to the people who want to lend you money. Now, here's the part that most financial conversations never get to. The lender and the credit bureau are not on opposite sides of the table. They are partners. The lender feeds your payment data to the bureau. The bureau sells your score back to the lender. Both profit from the transaction. The entire system was designed, funded, and maintained by the financial industry, for the financial industry. Think about what that means the moment you walk into a leasing office, a car dealership, or a bank. 2 experienced, well-resourced institutions working together for decades are sitting across from you. And you walked in alone, without knowing the rules, without knowing the relationship, without knowing the number being used to judge you was built by the same people profiting from the outcome. That is not a fair negotiation. That is a structure. And those 40 million errors? When the Bureau makes a mistake, the burden of fixing it falls entirely on you, not on the institution that got it wrong, because here is the uncomfortable math. Errors that lower your score make you look riskier. Riskier borrowers pay higher interest rates. Higher interest rates mean more profit for lenders. The people making the errors are not losing money from those errors. You are. Follow that chain all the way to the end, and the design of this system becomes impossible to ignore. You deserve to know this. You are legally entitled to 1 free credit report from each of the 3 bureaus every single year. Go to annualcreditreport.com. That is the only official government authorized site, not a copycat. Pull all 3 reports, read every line, look for accounts you do not recognize, payments marked late that were made on time, or balances that do not match your records. If you find an error, dispute it in writing directly to that bureau. They are legally required to investigate within 30 days. This one step costs nothing and takes about an hour. People have raised their scores by 50 to 100 points simply by correcting information that was never accurate in the first place. Real quick, if this is already showing you something about this system you never fully saw before, hit that like button right now. Share this with someone whose credit score has ever stood between them and something they deserved. They need to understand how this actually works, and you could be the one who shows them. Subscribe to Financial Methods. This is exactly what we do here every single week. Let's keep going, because what this system is actually costing you in real dollars is the part most people never sit down and calculate. Over $5,000. That is the difference in interest alone between 2 people buying the exact same car, same price, same dealership, same day, with different credit scores. Not because one person is irresponsible, not because one person earns less, because of 3 digits. Let me show you exactly how this plays out. Person A, credit score 760. Person B, credit score 580. They both need a car. Person A, interest rate around 5%. Person B, offered 15% or higher on a $20,000 car over 5 years. Person A pays roughly $2,700 in interest. Person B pays over $8,000. Same car, same price, same day, a difference of over $5,000 paid directly to the lender because of 3 digits. They both need an apartment. Person A approved on the first application. Person B denied at multiple buildings, eventually finding one willing to accept them at a higher monthly rent because the landlord considers them a higher risk. They both need car insurance. In most states, insurers are legally allowed to use your credit score to set your premium. Person B pays hundreds of dollars more per year for identical coverage, not because of their driving record, because of a number. Add that up across just a few years. Extra interest on the car, higher monthly rent, inflated insurance premiums, fewer options at every turn. The gap between a strong score and a damaged one quietly costs tens of thousands of dollars over time, not because of poor decisions, but because of a system that extracts the most from the people with the least margin to absorb it. That is structural disadvantage, not personal failure. And the rules to fight back, nobody handed those to you until now. The single fastest way to raise your score without spending a dollar is to lower your credit utilization. That simply means, how much of your available limit are you actually using? If your card has a $1,000 limit and you carry a $500 balance, your utilization is 50%. The system wants to see that number below 30% and below 10% for the strongest scores. Here is the move most people never think to make. Call your credit card company and ask for a credit limit increase. If they approve it, your utilization percentage drops immediately without you paying a single dollar more. One phone call, no cost, potential score improvement within one billing cycle. But there is another layer to this system that goes even deeper. And this is where it gets personal. Before we get into chapter 4, take 1 second. If this video is giving you language for something you have felt for years but could never fully explain, share it right now. Put it in front of someone who needs it. The people profiting from financial confusion are counting on this information staying hard to find. Hit like, share this, subscribe to Financial Methods. We are building a community of people done being the only uninformed person in the room. Your seat is open. Now let's talk about the rules they never taught you, because once you know them, this whole game changes. Here is something that will change how you see everything we have covered today. The rules of the credit score system are not secret. They are publicly available, documented, accessible to anyone. They are just never explained in plain language to the people they affect most. So let's fix that right now. 4 rules that can protect and build your score starting immediately. Rule 1, and this one alone could save you from a major score drop. A payment is not reported as late until it is 30 days past due. If you miss a due date, call your lender that same day. Make the payment. Ask them to not report it. Many lenders will honor that request once if your history has been clean. That conversation costs nothing. Missing it can cost you points that take months to rebuild. Rule 2. When shopping for a major loan, timing is everything. multiple inquiries for a mortgage or auto loan within a 14 to 45-day window count as a single inquiry. The scoring model recognizes you are rate shopping, so get every quote within that same window. Same score impact as one application. Rule 3. That old card you have been thinking about closing, leave it open. Closing it reduces your available credit and shortens your account age. Both hurt your score. Unless it carries an annual fee you cannot justify, leave it open with a small occasional charge paid off immediately. The age of that account works in your favor every month you keep it. Rule 4. You do not have one credit score. You have several, different bureaus, different scoring models, different numbers. If you have an error, fixing it on one bureau does not fix it on the others. Each one is its own battle. Fight them separately. If you have little or no credit history, there is a completely free way to start building it without taking on debt or applying for anything. Become an authorized user on a family member or trusted friend's credit card account. You do not need to use the card. You do not even need it in your possession. Their positive payment history on that account gets added to your credit file. If they have had that card for years and paid on time, that history now works for you too. One conversation with someone who trusts you can add years of positive history to your credit profile overnight. No application, no inquiry, no debt, just a decision. And now, the part that actually puts the power back in your hands. Everything we just covered, the system, the partnership, the cost, the rules, it all leads here. Because understanding how the game works is only valuable if you actually play it differently. And I want to be clear about something before we go through these steps. None of this requires paying a credit repair company. The credit repair industry is a multi-billion-dollar business built almost entirely on charging people for things they can do themselves, for free, once they know the rules. Now you know the rules. Here's your action plan. 5 steps, starting today. Step 1. Know exactly where you stand right now. Go to annualcreditreport.com today. Pull all 3 reports. Read every line. You cannot fix what you cannot see, and there may be errors in there that have been quietly costing you without you ever knowing. Step 2. Make on-time payment automatic. Today, set up automatic minimum payments on every account. Life gets busy. Do not let a forgotten due date cost you months of score recovery. The minimum payment protects your score. Paying more than the minimum protects your wallet. Automate the floor. Control the rest manually. Step 3. Call your credit card company this week. Ask for a credit limit increase. If they approve it, your utilization drops immediately, without you paying a single extra dollar. It is the fastest free score improvement most people never think to make. Step 4. Stop applying for credit you do not need. Every unnecessary application is a small cost with no benefit. Apply with a purpose and a plan. When you do need a loan, rate shop within the same 45-day window so multiple inquiries count as one. Step 5. Dispute every error you find on those reports. In writing, to the Bureau directly. They are legally required to investigate within 30 days. Correcting one error has changed people's financial lives. It costs nothing but the time it takes to write the letter. Maya went home after that denial and did exactly this. She pulled her reports, found 2 errors, accounts she had never opened, disputed them both. Within 30 days, her score went up 47 points. She reapplied for the apartment, this time approved. The system did not change. Maya changed how she moved through it. That is the difference knowledge makes. And that is what Financial Methods is here to give you every single week. If you have been through bankruptcy, collections, or serious financial hardship, your credit report is not a life sentence. Negative items fall off after 7 years, bankruptcies after 10. The clock runs whether you act or not, but building new positive history on top of old negative history speeds recovery dramatically. Every on-time payment from today forward is writing a new story over the old one. The score responds to what you are doing right now, not just what happened before. Starting today always beats waiting for the past to disappear on its own. Here is what I need you to carry out of this conversation today. Your credit score is not a verdict on who you are. It is a number generated by a system, built by institutions that profit from your participation, and maintained by a partnership that most people spend their entire lives never fully seeing. Maya was not irresponsible. She was uninformed. And uninformed is fixable. Check your reports. Dispute the errors. Lower your utilization. Pay on time. Keep your old accounts open. Stop letting a 3-digit number built by people with a financial interest in your confusion make decisions about your life. You were never supposed to know this clearly. Now you do. At Financial Methods, we are intentional about what we share. No rabbit holes, no speculation. Every conversation comes from real information, the kind that comes from inside these systems. And I will be honest, we are holding some things back, because where we are going next requires today's foundation first. We have talked about the credit score, the lender-bureau partnership, but there is a layer above all of that, an institution so embedded in everyday life that most people have never once stopped to ask how it actually makes its money. Next week, we pull back that curtain. Subscribe, drop a comment, let us know how deep you want to go. You deserve to know. And we are just getting started. If this video gave you something real today, something you are going to actually use, hit that like button right now. Share this with someone who deserves to understand how this system works. Be the one who puts this in front of them. That is an act of real financial solidarity. Subscribe to Financial Methods, real information, real talk. Every single week, your seat is right here. Until then, I'm Sage, holding it down at Financial Methods. Stay focused, stay intentional. They were counting on you not knowing this. Now you do.